The fire began without warning. 1 second, the hospital corridors were filled with the hum of machines and the soft chatter of nurses on their morning rounds. And the next, they were a roaring tunnel of orange. Alarms wailed through the halls as smoke billowed like a living thing, curling along the ceilings and plunging everything into chaos. Patients were wheeled frantically toward the exits. Doctors shouted over one another, and frightened visitors pressed against the walls trying to find a way out. It was a scene of panic and confusion, a place meant to heal now becoming a battlefield for survival. And somewhere deep inside that hell, a little girl was still trapped. Before we go deeper into this unforgettable true story of courage and love, pause for a second. If you believe in kindness, second chances, or the loyalty of animals that go beyond words, please like this video, subscribe to Pawsitive Tales, and share it so more hearts can feel what you're about to witness. Her name was Maya, just 7 years old, small and fragile, admitted for a routine checkup with her mother. That morning had started like any other, a breakfast of pancakes, a warm hug from Mom, and the promise of ice cream after the appointment. But fate had other plans. When the fire broke out, it spread faster than anyone expected. The upper floors were evacuated first, and in the chaos, Maya and her mother were separated. By the time her mother reached the main doors, she realized with a scream that Maya was nowhere to be found. She tried to go back, but the flames were too strong. Desperation gripped her so hard that her body gave way, and she fainted just inside the entrance, her world collapsing before her eyes. Firefighters rushed in, but every second mattered, and the hospital's maze-like hallways were rapidly becoming death traps. That's when a German shepherd named Rex broke free from the arms trying to hold him back. Rex wasn't just any dog. He was part of the hospital's therapy animal program, a gentle soul who spent his days comforting sick children. He had bonded deeply with Maya during her stay, and now, as the inferno swallowed the building, something deep and instinctual sparked inside him. Without hesitation, Rex turned and bolted back into the smoke. People shouted, trying to stop him, but he was gone, swallowed by the fire. The hallway ahead was unrecognizable, the air thick with heat and soot. But Rex's ears were tuned not to the chaos around him, but to the faint, terrified whimpers of the little girl he'd come to protect. His paws slipped on the ash-covered floor, and embers burned his fur, but he pressed forward. He knew the scent, that soft trace of Maya's hair, the tiny shoes she always wore, and he followed it like a beacon. Minutes felt like hours. Outside, the mother lay unconscious, surrounded by doctors and nurses who were trying to revive her, their own eyes darting constantly to the burning building. Everyone feared the worst, not just for the girl, but for the dog who had vanished inside. The world outside had slowed to a painful crawl. No one spoke. No one moved. They all waited. And then, through the smoke and flames, a shape appeared. At first it was just a silhouette, low to the ground, steady and determined. But as it grew clearer, gasps rippled through the crowd. It was Rex. His fur was singed, his chest heaving with exhaustion. But on his back, clinging to him even in unconsciousness, was Maya. Her small arms hung limp around his neck. Her face pressed against his back, but she was there. She was alive. The hallway erupted into chaos once more, this time tears, cries, and prayers. Doctors and nurses rushed forward, their hands trembling as they lifted Maya gently from Rex's back. The little girl was quickly taken to safety, and her mother, still unconscious, was placed beside her. As the paramedics worked, Rex collapsed from exhaustion near the door, his body shaking from smoke inhalation and burns. Yet even in his weakness, his eyes followed Maya, refusing to close until he knew she was safe. For a long moment, no one spoke. Then one of the nurses dropped to her knees beside Rex, tears streaming down her face. "You're a hero," she whispered. Around her people nodded, many openly weeping. They had seen bravery in their careers, from surgeons in the operating room to firefighters charging into flames, but never something quite like this. Never an act so selfless, so pure. Maya regained consciousness hours later in a nearby hospital. Her first word was a hoarse, tearful Rex. When they brought him to her bedside, bandaged and tired but alive, she reached out and hugged him with all the strength her little body had. Her mother, now awake and overwhelmed, joined them, crying into the fur of the dog who had brought her daughter back from the brink. News of Rex's bravery spread quickly. Cameras flashed, interviews followed, and soon people around the world knew his name. Letters and gifts poured in from strangers who said his story had restored their faith in love, in courage, in the bond between humans and animals. But Rex didn't care for fame. He stayed by Maya's side during her recovery, refusing to leave her room even for a moment. And when she finally walked out of the hospital weeks later, holding his leash in one hand and her mother's hand in the other, it felt like the world itself was cheering for them. In the end, it wasn't just about a dog running into a fire. It was about something bigger. About love that asks for nothing in return, about loyalty that does not hesitate, about the quiet heroes who walk on four legs and speak not with words, but with actions. Rex's story reminded everyone that sometimes the bravest hearts beat inside the smallest chests, and that courage doesn't always roar. Sometimes it just walks steadily through the flames, carrying someone it loves. If this story touched your heart, if Rex's bravery reminded you of the power of loyalty and love, please like this video, subscribe to Pawsitive Tales, and share it so more people can feel this message. Special request: before you go, tell us in the comments, have you ever seen an animal do something truly heroic? We'd love to read your stories below.